Welcome to the Random Real Estate Show, where the mics are hot and the opinions are hotter. We are a show about random things and occasionally some real estate. If you'd like to watch, you can find us on Facebook or YouTube under Houston's Home Connection Team. And if you want to participate, you can email us at justask@houstonshomeconnection.com or leave us a comment wherever you happen to be watching. We want to thank today's lunch sponsor, American Home Shield, and their representative, letha.ellis. We'll leave her information in the description below. Basically, we took food that was supposed to be for a team meeting and felt bad, and so we thought we'd give her a shout out. We do that a lot. We're just now deciding to do shout outs for people. Today, we'll be talking about FanDumb, as in dumb, and end of the year real estate opinions. Sit back, relax, but please keep your tray tables stored in their upright position because this is the takeoff of the Random Real Estate Show.
All right, Tom. So going back to that.
I always love your reaction to my announcements. Go ahead.
Yeah, I had to think about that for a sec. So the FanDumb, which you can normally is FANDOM, or you're going into the FanDumb, which is FAN-DUMB. And I bring that up because obviously the Astros are in the World Series, and being in Houston, we're kind of getting a full dose of both sides of a FanDumb and FanDumb. This morning, I'm reading on social media about certain people are posting on how other fans are supposed to react, how somebody is supposed to cheer for their team, and this and that. And one idiot that I read about actually wrote that the Astros didn't deserve to win Game 6 because the fans, or I take it back, the Astros shouldn't win Game 6 because the fans didn't deserve, like the fans weren't into it enough. So this guy, being the dummy that he is, he thought that the fans just weren't doing enough, right? So when it's 7-2 and it's late in the game and people will have jobs the next day or they want to beat traffic and they're not sitting in their seats hoping for that rally, which historically doesn't happen in baseball. I mean, dude, let people be what they want to do. I mean, they paid on average probably $1,000 for that ticket. If I paid $1,000 for that ticket, I have that option to staying or leaving. And so I just thought that was really goofy. And I know you're a big Astros fan, and I will admit I'm not the biggest Astros fan. I'm a Cubs fan. For the city of Houston, I hope they win. For all the friends that I have that are Houston fans, I hope they win. It's just they seem like a good overall team. But this whole FanDumb stuff just has me going crazy.
Well, I don't think it's not necessarily just Astros stuff, because you go back to when we were, with the Yankees and the way they acted.
Let me interrupt you real quick. So FanDumb can go across all boards outside of sports.
No, just saying. Obviously, it's not just Astro fans or what have you. But in the end, I've seen the same thing. I'm in this end up in this Houston fan group type deal.
You ended up, or you put yourself in it?
Well, I got invited and went ahead and accepted it. Yeah. I mean, they had my picture on the front of it because I went to Game 2 of the World Series.
Yeah.
And I left at the top of the ninth. We were down 12-2, and while I told somebody leaving, I said, I hope on the way home I find out I just left the greatest comeback in history. Because you always hear those games, right? They're few and far between, but it's always the fans that left sure did give up too early because they came back, and historically, I'd have been happy. All I'd have said is, yeah, I needed to leave so they could win. I'm a big superstition guy, so I'd have been like, obviously I didn't need to be there. But I was reading the same thing about that in that group, and I was telling you, it's like watching a fishbowl of humanity and how people react. They'll write like these 5-paragraph deals of like, when I was born, I was swaddled in an Astros blanket, and that's why I'm the best fan there is. And now I'm going to tell you why you guys aren't really fans. It's like, dude, just shut up and enjoy the game. Like, I wore the same outfit 4 games in a row. Like, you're not going to talk about my fandom. I go out every inning and straighten the flag hanging out in front of my house, all this stuff. It's just – I think you want to feel like you're a part of it for some reason. You want to feel connected, or else why watch?
Of course.
But to come in and start telling other people, it's like, you deal with that. Don't tell me how to deal with mine. Yeah. Whatever your fandom is, awesome. Whatever level you'll go to, if you'll, pour blood on the field to win, fine. Don't talk to me about my fandom because you don't know.
No, and I don't know if you saw the New York Yankees fan. And New York is what it is, but there was a fan that was the Astros were whipping him. I forgot what game, and he was standing up, just berating the people around him for not standing up and doing the same. But it's so I prefer to actually sit at home. I have a pretty
Right.
decent sized TV, and kind of shelter myself in the media room and watch games that way. And it's partly because of that. I just don't need to be told how to act. You know what I mean? Like me and George aren't going out for drinks later tonight. They appreciate the fans, I'm sure, but let's just be normal about it. And win, lose, or draw tomorrow, you still have a job to do. You still have kids to take care of. Let's not beat yourself up over it. You know what I mean? And I know for a fact, I just know for a fact, win, lose, or draw tonight, there will be a riot of some sort. I guarantee it. That's just the way it's made out.
I don't know. We'll see and what the interesting thing is that we haven't lost, in that way. Like, in other words, in Philadelphia, they had degrees poles and stuff, so people wouldn't climb up them, and
folks from Philadelphia,
and then eat, horse poop thrown around. I don't remember what else was going on, but
actually, a guy ate.
Yeah, I was going to say, it just dawned on me, like, I don't remember what it was. It was something about horse
throwing
poop.
it. He was eating.
Yeah, okay. So I want to believe we're not that bad, but yet we've never been put in this situation where we've come down to this kind of a pressure deal. And even anything we have, like, to go back to 2005 or any of the other ones, this goes to things you and I have talked about several times. The social media aspect of, like the girl at the Washington game the other day, trying to distract the pitcher by flashing him. Now she's, she was, and now is an even bigger Instagram, whatever. And, just, it's crazy the things that people do now, because you can get fame from doing something so instantly, so you get the same people think, oh, I'll do something stupid after this game. It'll go viral and now people will know my name. So
yeah, so to backtrack on her a little bit is, I thought the same thing. I don't think she was. I never imagined her distracting Garrett Cole. You know what I mean? Because like big whoop, what's one pitch? She's going to show her boobies. But she actually did have a motive behind it. They have a page called Shag Mag, which you can go watch it or whatever you want. But they are raising money for breast cancer awareness, being Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So there was I hope.
I disagree. I think that's BS. That's just thrown in there because you're watching. She's literally waiting for him to like, he's winding up, and she's waiting for that perfect moment of him getting ready to come back and face forward. And so then here's the deal.
What's one pitch though? She can do it all 100 pitches.
Okay, so that's what I told my buddy last night. He goes, if we win, I'm going to run across the field naked. I was like, yeah, just tell people you're doing testicular cancer awareness, and when they arrest you, sue them. I'm like, that's not the time and place, and they know it. Plus, if you're going to tell me you're on Instagram, whatever, my first deal is you can say whatever you want to say. You're hoping that you're going to get another 500,000 followers, and that's going to turn into money for you. There's all kinds of ways people are raising money for breast cancer awareness without running around showing their private parts.
So I know you're big into research. How many times did you watch the video to research her?
I've never seen it. I actually haven't seen it, even the one that's edited. I haven't. I mean, I could care less. Like seeing some girl in a far off blurry picture that looks like, I don't care. I don't like when people take, it's sort of like, I don't like
zoom it. Just
I don't like whenever they booed Trump. It has nothing to do with that. It's like, don't ruin the game.
Yeah.
Don't mess with it. People are there for the game. It's like other things in life. It's the whole deal. Well, I have a platform and I should. No, you don't have a platform. It's a game I'm watching. I don't care about all your crap. I just want to watch the game. And you can do your platform anywhere else in life that is directed towards you. But when you're at a game, keep it on the game.
Yeah, so over, under, how many cars get tipped tonight?
I don't know. That's what I said. I don't know because we've never been in this situation. I may be done. Mm-hmm. I mean, Houston, we're not necessarily known for that kind of craziness.
No, but there are some crazies.
Houston's
got plenty of crazy.
I mean, look at the parade, and all the people that couldn't get down to the parade. Nobody ended up tearing anything up or burning cars over it. So usually, I think they'll be fine.
Usually people aren't liquored up that time of morning.
I think they'll just, they'll walk out and they'll be happy or mad and they'll move on.
Yeah, so as you can see, we got a few people that joined in, but we are doing it two different ways. We're being filmed, which we'll be posting on YouTube and Facebook later, and also going through iTunes, but that'll just be audio. But we are going on the Facebook Live for the first time today. So if you have any questions or comments on what we're talking about, shoot them in there. We'd be happy to actually interact with you while we're doing this. So as we're working through the fandom thing, that we could go on for a long time with that. And it is what it is. It's just you be you and let somebody else be them. You know what I mean? If you want to get peed off about something, look behind home plate where there's 8 to 10 open seats in the Diamond Club at all times. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I will say this.
Put some hardcore fans down there if you want.
Well, I will tell you, so we were sitting in the Crawford boxes, and the people behind us were gone for 3 innings. And when
those folks in the Diamond Club are not going to the bathroom.
I was going to say, when they came back, they were like, I went to the bathroom.
I can guarantee you that.
Right. But that's the same folks who were down there booing at Nationals. It's like a bunch of rich people going, just nobody cares.
Yeah.
I don't think, I'm sure there are people who disagree and they'd boo. I don't care who's there. I'm just there to watch a game.
Jeremy, to answer your question, I am not an Astros homer. You will not see me wearing Astros gear. So
lo and behold,
there's your answer.
Jeremy's
to that.
on the line. Jeremy, get back to work.
All right, folks. So one of the topics, and we'll swing back to real estate here, is Tom had a question asked to him the other day is now a good time to sell a home? And maybe speak about that question, Tom, and what how it came about with your folks.
All right,
there.
so I had a couple that called me up. They've bought their first house. Now they've got to sell their first house. They don't have to. They want to sell and move back to Alabama. And so, they've done all this research and they've dug and they're worked up into a knot over all the stuff that they've read they have to do or what's going on. And so, I told them first and foremost is I'm never going to lie to you and tell you something I don't believe myself. And I believe that, now's just not the greatest time to sell your house. And that's just statistically. Right before we went on the air, I looked it up. From October last year until March of this year, in the areas we service, which is 1 and 32, which is kind of Kingwood down to the Beltway, 1,500 homes were sold. From April to today, 3,200 homes have sold. So double the homes have sold in what we consider the selling season. It's just why I think it's better. Now, there's things you can do, and it's not like a hard and fast rule. I've seen houses sell for good money in this slower time. It's just typically you're going to have people, if they've got a family and kids, they're trying to put off moving to somewhere that's going to change schools until the next school year, which means they're going to start in the spring, hopefully get it done, move in over the summer, get going. So there's a lot of factors there that I think that come into play, and that's why I just want people to understand. It's like I'll put your house on the market anytime you want, and I will do my best to sell it for the most I can sell it. But if you want me to show you the statistical data, the springtime is better.
Yeah, and I agree with stats. I'm an analytical person, so that all works for me. It really comes down to when are you ready? Like Tom said, when does it work for, if you do have kids, when does it work well for the kiddos? When does it work well for you to take away time to leave your house open for showings, for open houses, for this and that and the other? Is it around the holidays? Sometimes homes sell pretty decent when they're decorated for Christmas. Statistically, you can put a number to it. I think we both have sold homes in the winter. I've actually had some very good Decembers in the past where you think you're just going to be dead, and it's like, wow, people, if they have the down payment, if they're buying, if the down payment's right, credit score is good, they see a home they like, they go after it. So if you're a home seller, it all depends on your situation. Are you being transferred? Is there a situation where you want to move back and you have to get back somewhere quickly? But so statistically, they say that homes listed during the best time to sell a house is about 6 days faster than usual is in the springtime. And we found that obviously there are more homes for sale during that time, and your competition is greater to where the home prices may be able to come down a little bit. Now, when you're the only guy in town, you can kind of name your price and you won't have as much competition, but the buyers may not be out there as well. But when the buyers are hot and heavy, then that's possibly where a seller can raise their price.
Well, right, and so that's what I told him. I'm like, listen, if you guys need to get it done, we'll put it on. And what I appreciated about this particular couple, and what drives me nuts about a lot of other people is, I told you today one of the topics I was going to throw in was bad decisions, and one of the bad decisions I make is I know for a fact that I should not go to Buffalo Wild Wings and have the mango habanero wings. I just know that, and yet when I'm jonesing for them, I can't stop myself. So last Sunday we went there after church, and Monday I was not feeling like coming in here and talking to you because I was not a good day, and I knew that was going to happen. I did it anyway, and this is where I run into frustration: is I can show data and facts to say, regardless when you put it on, this is what your house is going to sell for because a market is a market.
Yeah,
there's not your house having something special doesn't mean it's going to go for more, and they can see it and they can tell me they agree with it, and they go, but we want more money. It's like, but that's just not there. I mean, whenever you sell your house, being realistic about what the price it's going to sell for based on the fact that a market will only bear what a market will bear is everything. Yes, I have sold houses every time of year. I would say probably the deadest, like the most like no-go time of year is January, February. Like I just think we could go look at that and go like the house sales drop down to like squadoosh.
Yeah.
Because that's desperation selling time. So we do get that push mid-year of people going, hey, listen, I got my kid through half the school year. At least it's transitioning over Christmas and we'll start new versus, the middle of something. But man, once you get past the first of the year, I think it's just hang on for about 60 days and let's put it on at the end of February or something. But it's still going to come back to the price is the price. We don't tell you numbers.
Well, yeah, that's.
I mean, obviously, Josh and I would love to sell every house we list for $1 million, including our own. That's just not real.
So to go back to what you said, out of 35 major U.S. markets, and I'm not going to name all the markets, but out of 35 of the U.S. markets, largest U.S. markets, 29 of them, the best time to list a home fell between the second half of March and the first half of June, also known as late spring. Now, in 29 of them. In the remaining 6 markets, the best time to sell was in the first 2 weeks of July. On average, the worst time to list is midwinter, within the winter months to sell a house being December and January. So that you can maybe take a $1,500 price cut on asking price, that's not bad.
No,
but
right.
That's just the average. That's not
right.
the norm.
I think sometimes for me, it's that point of you saying, okay, the way the other way to view it is this: I can have your house in the market; it can be the only house, but if no one's looking, we're still not going to sell it.
No,
because there are times when there are people just like, I don't want to buy a house, and if they are, they're probably looking at, I want to flip it or I want to do it. They're looking at it expecting I want a deep, deep, deep discount on a house because I don't have to buy a house.
So let's dive in a little deeper, and we'll go to Midwest, to the South states. And so obviously where I'm from in the Midwest, December and January and February, and well, actually they had snow yesterday there. That's just not a great time to be doing anything with the snow. But here, where we could be in 50, 60 degree weather in October, November, December, January, February, it kind of takes a little different of a turn where that might be a good time to sell because you're not sweating to death. In late July, who wants to drag the kiddos out when it's 105 degrees? It happens, right?
I just think people are going like, hey, when the school year gets over, here's what
school's a big factor.
In my mind, what I look at is there are people from other parts of the country that take their spring break to come here, find the house they're going to buy, get it under contract, go back to where they're from, finish the school year, and it should close about the time they get here when their school closes. So that's where I say that comes in. It's spring break time is where I personally start looking at. The very first listing I ever had in my life, and if Jeremy's still watching, it was his next door neighbor, had a pool.
Man, how did Jeremy not get that listing?
We went through. He wasn't working the business at the time. He actually referred that one to me, if I remember
Good job,
right.
bud.
And she had a pool, and we went through the winter months trying to sell it. And I remember the first open house we did when the weather was warm enough that you would just see a drop of sweat. I remember watching a drop of sweat on people around that pool. We sold it within about 2 weeks of that.
No doubt.
Because, it's like who wants to look at a pool even here in February versus, when you're sweating, you're like, man, that pool sure looks good.
Oh, no doubt.
So, it's all those factors that come in, I think, no matter where you're at. It's not to say it'll never happen, and I would never tell anybody, no, I refuse. I just want them to understand that there's statistical and empirical data that says if you've got your mind set on a number, I can only get that number probably at a certain time of year if we're lucky and the market bears it. If you want that in the middle of winter, I'll try. But when it doesn't happen, don't blame me because saying, why didn't you tell me it wouldn't sell in the winter?
No,
I'm screaming it. It's not going to sell.
And we have a saying around the office where what you do today will pay off 90 days from now. So to wrap it up, if you want to put your house on today, we're probably looking at 90 days to knock it all down. You know what I mean? In a decent market, you can do the 30 to 60 or whatever. But, the slower times, I wouldn't imagine there being a buttload of buyers at the moment, with Halloween coming up and all that. But
well, we do have some good interest rates, and there are some things turning around.
No, there's buyers,
and that's going to drive that too. So don't ever be afraid. Just listen to reality. I guess that's more that. Please, 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 just listen to reality and make people show you the numbers so that if you're asking 20,000 more than any house has ever sold for, you understand you're asking something to happen that's never happened.
Yes.
If you get lucky, awesome. If not, that's why.
Yeah, and if you have a realtor sitting in your living room and you tell them what you want to list your home for and they say, sure, be careful, my friends. All right. Thanks for joining us this week on the Random Real Estate Show. You can find more of our podcasts on our YouTube page and Facebook page, both under the name Houston's Home Connection Team. We're also on iTunes, so you'll never miss a show. While you're at it, if you find value in this show, we'd appreciate a rating on iTunes. Or if you'd simply just tell a friend about the show, that'd help us out too. If you'd like to speak with us about any real estate items, feel free to contact us at justask@houstonshomeconnection.com. As always, go out and laugh today.